They never told you this in school, but the most dangerous person in any room is never the loudest one. It's the one sitting quietly, watching everything, saying almost nothing. While everyone else performs, they observe. While everyone else reacts, they decide. And while the world mistakes their silence for weakness, they are already 3 moves ahead. This is not a coincidence. This is psychology. And once you understand it, you will never see confidence the same way again. You have been lied to about what confidence actually looks like. Every movie, every motivational speech, and every self-help book sold you the same image. Loud, bold, dominant. The person who walks into the room and immediately commands it with noise, with energy, with performance. And maybe you tried to copy that. Maybe you forced yourself to speak louder, take up more space, and perform more certainty than you actually felt. And it never quite fit, because deep inside, something told you that was not real power. That was theater. And you were right. Because real confidence, the kind that actually wins, the kind that makes people instinctively move out of your way, that kind is almost completely silent. Psychologists have a name for what you are about to learn. It lives inside the behavior of the world's most effective negotiators, the sharpest CEOs, and the calmest soldiers under fire. It is called psychological dominance through composure. And it works because the human brain is wired to assign authority to stillness. When everyone around you is reacting, flinching, over-explaining, and apologizing, the person who simply does not react becomes the most powerful presence in the room by default. Not because they performed with confidence, because they did not need to. Think about the people in your life who truly unsettled you. Not the aggressive ones, not the loud ones, the quiet ones. The ones who looked at you with complete calm when you expected panic. The ones who said less than you expected. The ones who never chased, never begged, never over-explained. Something about them felt untouchable. That feeling was not random. Your nervous system recognized something your conscious mind could not name. It recognized a person who was not controlled by their environment. And that is the foundation of dark confidence. Not aggression, not arrogance, unshakability. Here is what most people never understand about power. Reaction is submission. Every time you react emotionally to someone's behavior, you silently hand them control of your inner state. Every time you over-explain, you signal that you need their approval. Every time you rush to fill silence, you reveal that silence makes you uncomfortable. And people, whether consciously or not, read all of these signals. They calibrate how much influence they can have over you based on how easily you can be moved. The person who cannot be moved is the person everyone in the room unconsciously defers to. This is not philosophy. This is neuropsychology. The calm person doesn't just feel more powerful. In every measurable social dynamic, they are. But here is where it gets darker and more interesting. Dark confidence is not about becoming cold. It is not about becoming emotionally unavailable or building walls. That is insecurity dressed in armor. Dark confidence is the opposite. It comes from someone who has felt everything deeply, who has been through enough to know they will survive anything, and who no longer needs external circumstances to be comfortable before they can be calm. They have done the internal work. They have sat with their own darkness, their own fear, and their own uncertainty, and they did not run. And that process, sitting with discomfort without escaping it, is what forges the kind of composure that cannot be faked and cannot be shaken. Most people spend their entire lives in emotional debt. They need things to go right before they feel okay. They need people to approve of them before they feel confident. They need certainty before they feel calm. And because the world almost never cooperates on all 3 at once, they spend most of their lives slightly anxious, slightly reactive, and slightly off balance. Dark confidence rewires this entirely. It moves the internal switch from external to internal, from "I'll be okay when things settle down" to "I am already okay, and I will handle whatever comes." This is not positive thinking. This is trained psychological sovereignty. And here's the part no one talks about. When you carry this quality into a room, people feel it before you say a single word. Presence is not something you perform. It radiates. The nervous system of every person around you is constantly scanning the room for signals of threat, safety, and hierarchy. When they encounter someone who is completely unbothered, completely grounded, and completely unreadable, they do not dismiss it. They are drawn to it. Some will feel uncomfortable around you because your calm exposes their own internal noise. Others will unconsciously orbit you, looking for the gravity of someone who knows where they stand. Either way, you have influence you never had to ask for. This is also why dark confidence is misunderstood. From the outside, it looks passive. It looks like doing nothing. The calm person doesn't argue, doesn't chase, doesn't raise their voice, and doesn't try to prove anything. And in a culture that confuses activity with power, that can look like weakness. But watch what happens over time. The argumentative person burns bridges. The reactive person hemorrhages energy. The performer exhausts everyone around them, including themselves. Meanwhile, the calm person conserves everything, sees everything, and moves only when the moment is right. And when they do move, it lands. Not because they were aggressive, because they were precise. That is the dark side of composure. It is not passive, it is patient. So how do you build this? It begins with a single practice that most people will never commit to: voluntary discomfort, not suffering for its own sake, but deliberately choosing situations where you feel uncomfortable and staying present inside them without escaping, without checking your phone, without over-talking, without intellectualizing the discomfort away. Just sitting inside it, breathing, staying. Every time you do this, your nervous system recalibrates. It learns, slowly and permanently, that discomfort is not an emergency. And a nervous system that knows discomfort is not an emergency cannot be easily manipulated, rattled, or controlled by anyone. Add to this the discipline of silence. Most people are afraid of silence because silence demands presence. When you stop filling space with noise, with opinions, with performance, you are forced to simply be. And most people have not practiced simply being in a very long time. Start small. Let silence sit in conversations for 3 full seconds longer than feels comfortable. Do not rush to fill it. Whoever speaks first into uncomfortable silence loses. Not as a game, but as a reflection of who is in control of their own internal state. Practice this daily and watch how your social authority shifts without you changing a single word you say. The final piece is the one most people skip because it requires the most honesty: radical self-knowledge. Dark confidence is impossible to fake long-term because it is built on knowing exactly who you are, what you stand for, and what you will not tolerate. People without this foundation look calm until they are tested, and then the mask cracks. People with real self-knowledge cannot be easily manipulated because they are not confused about their own values. They know where they end and where external pressure begins. This is why knowing yourself deeply, including your flaws, your fears, and your shadows, is not weakness. It is armor. The person who has faced their own darkness is never frightened by someone else's. Here is your challenge. For the next 21 days, choose one uncomfortable situation each day and stay inside it without escaping. It could be a difficult conversation you have been avoiding. It could be sitting alone without your phone for 30 minutes. It could be letting silence stretch past the point where it feels safe. Whatever it is, stay. Breathe. Breathe. Do not perform. Do not explain. Just be present and let your nervous system learn what real composure feels like from the inside. Because here is the truth about calm people that the loud ones will never understand. They are not calm because life is easy. They are calm because they have trained themselves to be a constant in a world of variables. They are not unfeeling. They feel everything. They have simply stopped letting what they feel dictate what they do. And that gap between stimulus and response, between what happens to you and how you choose to meet it, that gap is where your power lives. It is where your identity becomes unshakable. It is where dark confidence is born, not in the noise, not in the performance, in the quiet, unbreakable decision to never again hand your peace to something outside yourself. The calmest person in the room is never the weakest. They are the ones who already won before the game began.